right, we are live. All right, sports update, fellas. What's good?
Good.
Yep, we got Rod producing the show as well. We're gonna bring Rod back on the line segment. So yeah, when it started off with last night's national championship game, we seen Ohio State winning 34-23 over Notre Dame. They didn't make it to the Big Ten championship game. They lost to Michigan, but they did win the national championship. So Reid, all in all, we call the Ohio State season a success.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of knew that. Obviously, you guys are Michigan fans, but you're a little bit more level-headed Michigan fans than some of these people that you see online that are saying, "Oh, well, they didn't beat us, so their season's not a success." Listen, you play the game to win the national championship. You play the NFL to win the Super Bowl. They came in, they handled business. They beat top five teams going to that national championship. Notre Dame's not the best team, but they still put up 34 points on them. They won. I would say it's a success. That's like people saying last season when the Lions beat the Chiefs the first game of the season. Well, their season was a failure, even though they went on to win the Super Bowl because the Lions beat them. So it's like I just don't really see how people are going to say that as a Michigan fan. I get it. Some of it's probably trolling more than others, but I mean, you win a national championship, that's a success. Listen, if Florida State lost to Florida at the end of the season and they went on to win a national championship, I wouldn't blink twice. I wouldn't lose sleep over it. I wouldn't be upset about it. I'd be happy to have a national championship over losing to my rival. It wouldn't really matter to me. So yeah, all in all, success.
Yeah, like Reid said, I'm a Michigan fan, so it obviously hurts me to see the team in Ohio win a national championship. But hey, I'll give credit where credit's due. I actually think them losing to us actually benefited them and kind of put a rocket up their ass and made them play the highest level of football they could possibly play. Now, as far as the playoff go, they just kind of hit go. They kind of let everything go and just play well. Chip Kelly's play calling in the CFB has been phenomenal. Everybody played well for them. Will Howard made incredible plays. Of course, Jeremiah Smith's a stud. Quinshawn Judkins, Travion Henderson. What can I say? The defense was elite. He's got to give him credit. I think it does kind of hit the reset button for Ryan Day. Although there will still be some Ohio State fans who are still gonna ride this down this hill. We're saying you didn't beat Michigan, but at least we got that in the bag. But like I said, we'll give them credit where credit's due. They did what they're supposed to do, and I will say this is good for the Big Ten. Winning back-to-back national titles, and I think they can be the powerhouse in college football moving forward. But like I said, all in all, a good win for Ohio State. Good job by Notre Dame fighting back to get in the game. Ohio State kind of let them sneak up and get back in the game. Riley Leonard played a lot better than I thought he would play in this game. Just didn't see Notre Dame run the football enough, but Ohio State, like I said, did what they need to do to win the national championship. But this does tell me that with the age of college football, with the NIL and the portal, rev share coming up, that it is going to be parity, man. It is going to be there's not going to be this Alabama's no more. It's not going to be winning 3 championships in 4 years. It's going to be tough, man. It's just going to, I think, in my opinion, be the team who can retain veteran players and bring back a talented team. So I even think Penn State next year is going to be well loaded. They're bringing most of their guys back, minus Abdul Carter. But it's just you're seeing a new trend in college football right now. But like I said, congrats to Ohio State. As much as it pains me to say it, but they did what they were supposed to do. The best team in college football towards the end of the season was the team who won the national championship.
So Reid, is the Big Ten the best conference in college football right now?
Yeah, I think what this shows is if a SEC team needs to come up and play in cold weather. If you look at a lot of the teams that played, Saban said it earlier on when he did a college game day with McAfee that it's going to be hard for them to come and play. Whenever Alabama came and played someone, he said that their players didn't like it. So, they get a lot of the warm weather Florida kids or Georgia kids and Texas kids. So, yeah, I think the Big Ten does have the best team, I think they are the best in college football. If you look at it, I'm not a Michigan fan, but I think Michigan's going to have a solid team next year. I think Ohio State's going to continue to be good with their recruiting class. I think Oregon's going to still be good with Dan Lanning. I think USC could take some jumps. Michigan State could potentially take some jumps. I think they're probably with the way, like Adrian said, the NIL and the transfer portal. It's so much easier for teams to be good, and there's so much there's not as much. There's more parity in the league, like you said. It's just not as much. Alabama and Saban recruiting all these kids so well. You can pay for championships now. So yeah, I mean, I do think the Big Ten is the best at the moment. I don't know if the SEC will totally reclaim it, but I mean, there's definitely teams, your Texases, your Alabamas, that still have the notoriety of names and will still get players. So you'll just have to see. It all depends on, I think, where teams play.
Yeah, I think Tennessee will be really good next year too.
Yeah.
And mind you guys, the schedule for week 1 next season is, I'm looking at it now. It sets up pretty well. You got notable games like Texas travels to Ohio State. You got Clemson, LSU playing, Miami, Notre Dame playing. So there's some notable games in this week 1 coming up for this next season. So I think we have to realize that teams can't be scared to play. Ohio State won that championship with 2 losses. So you got to play. I mean, especially if you have a loss earlier in the season, it's not going to matter if you play well late in the season. So I think we're going to see a lot more bigger games being played. But I think we're setting ourselves up for another great season coming next year. We'll have time to get into, obviously, off season what it looks like. I still got to see what guys declare and what guys come back. But obviously, Ohio State's going to lose like a boatload of team like Michigan did last season. So we'll see, but they'll still be as good. Oh, Alabama plays Florida State as well.
State, I just looked that up. That's crazy. That's probably going to be a whooping. And then, I don't know, right? That's later in the year. Yeah, that's crazy.
Nebraska Cincinnati is a sneaky good game.
Who does Michigan play first, and who does State play first?
Michigan plays New Mexico, and Michigan State is playing Western Michigan per usual.
They always open the season with Western
or Central every time. And then the week 0 games are Stanford, Hawaii, Iowa State, and Kansas State. This is going to be the game that's in Dublin, and then Fresno State and Kansas. Those games are all happening on the same day. So that's better than we got last year.
So my thing about it is, and this is probably part of me just being a I mean, Michigan is the big brand, so obviously their schedule is different. But like, how do you start out the season with a New Mexico, and then you have an 0-13, or they didn't go that they won 2 games. You have Florida State opening with Bama. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. How does Florida State get open up with a ranked team that's a solid team, and they're going to get recruits? I mean, I hope Florida State's team's better, and I hope they do come out and beat Alabama. That'd be sweet, but having a team like that, and then Michigan goes and plays New Mexico is kind of – I feel like Michigan should have a bigger opponent as well. I'm not saying that, don't give them – obviously Texas is playing OSU, but, like, give them some other team out of division to play in the beginning of the season. Test them early. I think that would be much more interesting and better for ratings than watching them pummel New Mexico, in my opinion. But
yeah, they saved it for – I mean, I don't know how Oklahoma should be a lot better than they were last year because they got the transfer quarterback Mateer, but Michigan's – we'll be traveling to Oklahoma to play in Norman. So I think that will be the first time that they play Oklahoma in the regular season. I believe. If I'm correct, I have to go. Don't correct me on that, but let me do some research. But I believe that will be the first time they will be traveling to Norman. So
September 20th, they play Nebraska in Nebraska. I think that'll be interesting.
Tough game.
Sure. All right, last thing on that game, Reid. Did Will Howard help his draft stock?
Oh, I mean, I definitely think he did. I mean, now, is he a guy that I'm going to go out of my way to try and pick up for my team? Probably not. I feel like he'd be a solid developmental guy. I think you still need him to sit behind someone to learn a scheme first. But I mean, he's a dual threat guy. He can create plays a lot. So I think it definitely helped his stock. I mean, QB needy team. I could see someone probably going for him mid-second round, high second round, or low back end of the second round. So middle to back end of the second round. If somebody could reach up for him. That happens all the time with these quarterbacks. We saw with JJ winning the national championship. Pro scouts will like what they saw, and if you can get him in the right system, I think he'll definitely do well enough. I think that, I think it rises anytime you win a national championship.
Yeah, I definitely think the entire college football playoff helped reshape his draft stock. He coming into it looked more like a 7th rounder to an undrafted guy, but I think this boosted his stock up to at least I'd say he's a 3rd, 4th round guy. That'd be the range where I'm seeing him looking at. Got some development to do. He's a little older, obviously, but he's going to be scheme dependent, depending on what team drafts him. He's I would kind of compare him maybe to a poor man's Will Levis, who's a little more accurate. I think in that kind of sense. But I think he has the tools in order to be at least, in the NFL for sure. But he definitely helped his draft stock, including that entire defense.
I would put him a little bit over Will Levis. I mean, he had a great season. 4,000 yards, 35 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and he led the league in QBR. He had almost a 90 QBR. So I think that he went 231 and a touchdown against Notre Dame, 289 a touchdown interception against Texas, 319 3 touchdowns against Oregon. He went 311 and 2 touchdowns versus Tennessee. So those are 4 top 5 teams that he went, almost 300 yards every game, only threw 2 picks in those 4 games. So, and those are good defenses. I mean, Texas had a good defense, Notre Dame had a good defense, Oregon had a good defense. Tennessee's defense was a little beaten up, but I mean, he played very good. So I think teams could look at that. I think he has a little bit higher ceiling than Will Levis because I think he can create more with his feet. I don't think he has the arm of Will Levis, but like you said, I mean, you're always going to look good when you have, 3 NFL receivers at your disposal.
Yeah, hey, maybe he becomes a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Well, sir.
All right, let's see. Shout out to Jalil in the building. Appreciate you, Jalil, for the donation.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, Jalil.
Shouting good luck in the megaphone. Appreciate you. Said, what's up, fellas? Go Birds. Although Jane Daniels worries me. Yeah, we're gonna get to the NFL. We're gonna get to the NFL. Let's dive right into it. Let's get to the Lions, man. So
let Reid go. Gotta let Reid go first on this one.
Oh yeah. Reid gonna set this off. So man, Reid, the Lions, number 1 seed, home field advantage. Was the season a failure? Just go ahead and let loose.
Yeah, I mean, you have to say it was because you go 15-2, or and you have your best season of the year. You have guys playing well, high powered offense. Granted, a lot of what I think is the defense. Losing 18 guys hurts. 6 of them were starters, so I'm not going to put it all on the coaching staff, which I think Ben Johnson kind of didn't coach his best offensive game, to be honest with you. I mean, they had a play. I don't know if it'll come up on the highlights, but they had a play. It was a third and 1, and they went with an empty backfield and decided to give Jared Goff the ball to throw it. No play action, nothing. It was crazy. I think he, after that hit, that illegal hit that should have probably been called, but it wasn't, that turned into the interception. I think that that should have came back. I think he was real rattled after that because he didn't look the same. I almost would have wanted to keep Teddy Bridgewater in because I feel like he had a clearer head than Goff. Ben Johnson's, again, play call. I don't like the one. I don't like the play call where he wanted J-Mo to throw the ball. I didn't like not running Jameer enough. I think they wanted to give David Montgomery the ball for some nostalgia. I don't think he was ready to play fully as the running back. I think they should have stuck with Craig Reynolds a little bit more. As much as David Montgomery is great, I just think he looked rusty. The bye week, there's a lot of times in sports when I feel like the Tigers, it happened to the Tigers in 2011 when they lost in that World Series. They had such a long break waiting for another team. I feel like a break sometimes can cool you off, and they say the bye week's good to get healthy, but the guys that needed to get healthy weren't ever going to come back. You didn't have Carlton Davis, you didn't have McNeil, you didn't have Hutch. None of those guys were going to come back. So yeah, I just think that Aaron Glenn tried to call as good a defensive scheme as he could when you have all those guys out, but I think Ben Johnson's offensive playing call was lackluster. I'm not just saying it because he left. I think everybody can agree that it wasn't his best coached game. Maybe he had one foot out the door already. He was ready to go. It was very disappointing. And yeah, I would have to say the season's a failure because you really had to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, this team was destined for the Super Bowl. They were Super Bowl favorites at one point. You win 15 games and you lose at home, which everybody was saying it was such a beast to come into Ford Field, and you can't win in Ford Field. Jaden Daniels came out, he's a rookie. Rookies don't win on the road in the playoffs. He did it in Tampa. He just, he showed you how good he was in this game. You had technically 3 big plays on guys that were wide open. De'Ami Brown, a guy that St. Brown was talking about because he got drafted before him. He put, pedal to the metal on the Lions. It was just all bad, man. They couldn't stop, a faucet if they had the nozzle turned off. It was crazy. I was watching that game, and leading up to that whole week, there was something behind this Commanders team that Jaden Daniels was this, this monster in the closet that I couldn't get out of the back of my head. And so I didn't think they were going to lose by any means, but I thought the game was going to be close, and they showed that no matter how big the offensive firepower is, they just couldn't get out of their own way. They couldn't outscore them. Washington's defense played great against the pass. Jared Goff made, timely mistakes with interceptions, and if you throw interceptions and your defense isn't stopping anything, they're going to convert on those mistakes. So, yeah, I mean, it's just it's really disappointing. I've been pretty down all these last 3 days because it's just you expected so much out of this team, and it hurts because now you're losing Ben Johnson. Aaron Glenn's probably going to be announced to be the Jets head coach. Hank Fraley had his second interview, who's the L-Lines coach, had a second interview with the Seahawks to become the OC. Terrell Williams, who's the defensive line coach that we got from Tennessee, he's potentially going to be the DC for the Patriots. He has an interview with them. Keldon Shepard, if he doesn't get promoted, he potentially could go somewhere and become a coordinator there as well. The only bright side on that is, if those guys leave, your Terrell Williams, your Aaron Glenn, your Keldon Shepard, they have the rule where you get a compensatory picks for them becoming coordinators or head coaches. So Lions will get picks out of it, which is good. It just all depends on who you're going to replace them with. I saw someone try to say that Joe Brady from the Bills is going to, potentially be an offensive. It's like, no, because that season's over and the Jags don't have a head coach. They might interview him because teams can still interview guys after they're out of the playoffs. Once teams lose in the playoffs, you can interview people. So, it was very disappointing. Been down all week about it. On to next year, hopefully they can find the guys that they want to replace them, but it just feels like this was like you were on top of the mountain and then, your carabiner broke and you fell down, 2 rungs. It was heartbreaking, man. It really is. I mean, I try not to be upset about sports because they are just sports, but when you're rooting for a team for so long and you're so happy and the team's so good and you just think everything's great, and then they lose to a rookie in the playoffs, you were expected to win. It sucks, man. A poorly executed game. I could go on and on about it, but I'm a beaten dog at this point.
Yeah, man. Unfortunately, hey, you have all the right to be upset. Hey, this is the passion. This is what Lions fans do. This is what we do as sports fans. We live and die by our teams, and who cares? Man, we're just passionate. But I feel bad for you and the rest of the true diehard Lion fans. It was tough. My cousin, he was ready to put a hole in the wall. He was so upset. And I felt him. He kind of just put his head down, and people were saying same SOL, same old lines. Like we gotta cut that number. Just relax. But like you said, the game, all week I said the Lions need to be coming in this game under control, play with confidence. Don't be cocky, be humble. Because I found not you guys, but a few Lions fans just being like, oh, we're gonna blow them out. It's gonna be easy. This, that. Come on now, like it's the NFL. You never take things for granted, and we all know. In the playoffs, you have to play your best football. And if you have a day where you decide not to play your best, you can get beat on any given Sunday, although it's Saturday game. But we knew coming into the game, the defense was kind of depleted still. And then Amik Robertson goes out on that first drive where it looks like his elbow or his shoulder is just shattered. Kind of just lost confidence. And then Lions come down, first possession, score a touchdown. They're up 10-7, I believe, or 10-3. Whatever the score was at that point in time. Jared Goff fumbles the ball inside the red zone. And like you said, the pick six should have been called back. And he throws the pick before the half. He should have threw that ball in front of J-Mo instead of letting Mikey Sanders get a jump on it. Then I already think he might have had a concussion because he got hit pretty hard. Like I said, should have been called back. But I think his confidence was shaking. I think the Lions got punched back in the face, and they didn't expect Washington to keep punching, and Jay Daniels just kept attacking. And Jared Goff didn't help them, and J-Mo threw that pick as well. But you cut the turnovers in half, and they find a way to win this game. They were in it all the way up until J-Mo threw that pick on the reverse. So I mean, they were still in the game, but it's just attention to detail, just focus. But the one thing I will say about this loss, it hurts. Think about this loss, take it, eat it, and be better from it. You're still in contention. You're still a contender. You got to bounce back. You cannot take this loss and let it deter you, because the farther you get away from the 49ers game, the less that feels like it hurts. This hurts more, I know, for Lions fans, because you expect it to at least be in the NFC Championship game. But it could be fine. I know you guys are worried about the coaching staff. Ben Johnson left. He just took the Chicago Bears head coaching job. And I just want to say this as not being a Lions fan. Ben Johnson, for the Lions fans saying Ben Johnson is a traitor, cut the noise, get out of here. He got paid $13 million NFL head coach. Come on,
the only person that makes more money than him as a head coach is the guy in Kansas City.
Yeah,
like they threw out the bag for him. He's gonna take the money. I hate people who are saying I hate people who are saying like Benedict Arnold Ben. Yeah. Like, come on, dude. Like that's what he coached in this league for. That's what he became an offensive coordinator for. He wanted that job. You don't go to work every day wherever you three work. You're not going to your jobs to be to be a mainline guy. Whatever you do in your career, you want to be the best at it. You want to get promoted. That's what he did. Like, it sucks to lose him, but guess what? That's just the nature of the beast. Coaches leave all the time. Look at what happened with Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, LaFleur. Like, all those guys were solid coaching prospects. They left, and now they're on successful teams. It just happens.
And then
I've been hearing a lot of Ben Johnson slander. A lot of people were saying he took the job a week ago. He was constructing his staff a week ago, and he wasn't that focused. I'm hearing a lot of conspiracy theories revolving around Ben Johnson right now.
That man should have paid attention to that game plan, prepared Jared Goff properly, because what he did was a disgrace. This team was not ready offensively. You see the mistakes that Jared Goff made. It was a disaster from the very first play of that game. They were not ready. This team was not invested. You can make excuses about the defensive injuries. Yeah, that happened. But Jared Goff is throwing interceptions. Jameson Williams is throwing the ball. This man has never thrown a pass in the NFL. What is this? It was a disaster. All Ben Johnson cared about was getting out of here, getting that bag, and going and getting Caleb Williams. This team, if Dan Campbell's... I know you got to let them go, and they have to interview for other jobs. But Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson... they weren't invested in the game, and what we had is the biggest upset and maybe the biggest heartbreak a Lions fan will ever have. This is SOL all the way through. The Lions had a chance to change the entire direction of their team, and I'm so mad, I will spit this out my bottom dentures. I'm like Kanye right now, spitting it through just the top. I'm pissed. It was a disgrace. I know there's always next year. Aiden Hutchinson can be healthy. But this was our window. We had one shot at greatness. Who knows? Even look at what Dan Campbell said last year. It's so hard to get back to that spot. How do they know they're going to get back there next year, even if they're healthy? What if Caleb Williams is suddenly this utter world, outside alien with Ben Johnson giving him plays? This could be it. It could be over. But
I just think, you say that, I get what you're saying, like, how they be back. It is hard to get back. But they aren't losing a whole lot in free agency. The only guy that's a big name that they're losing in free agency is potentially Davenport, Barnes, and Carlton Davis. Other than that,
well, they're all, except Davis, they're all garbage. Like, Davis was the only person that actually wasn't hurt and was there. Well, Davenport he didn't show up. He
got hurt. He got hurt early. I get it. He's definitely a threat on the outside. Barnes is a solid linebacker, and he showed you that all last year. He played very well. So I think he's a guy who's going to come back. Carlton Davis, I don't know if he'll be back, but they have $68 million in cap. They can go get free agents next year. They'll be able to restock some of the guys. I mean, yes, you have to use some of that money to pay Aiden, pay JMO, pay Kirby, pay some of these other guys, but that's not going to take up all the $60 plus million that you have to spend on guys. So I'm not too worried about personnel that's leaving, but I just want them to be able to go out and find free agents. People are going to want to come here after you win 15 games. You go to an NFC Championship the year before. Like, I get where people are upset. Like, you're allowed to be upset. I wouldn't call it SOL, because I think anytime you say this team loses, you can just claim SOL. The same old Lions wouldn't have even been in the situation of a first round bye. Like, that just never happened before. So it can't fully be SOL. I get it. Like, in the situationally, it could be because they lost in the first round, second round, but after the bye, like their first home playoff game, it is terrible. But I just don't. I wouldn't consider it full SOL personally, but I do see why people are upset.
I mean, the underdog got knocked off by an underdog, so the narrative changed. Everything about the Lions has been they've been the scrappy underdogs. Now they lost to a scrappy underdog.
The Lions got lioned. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Lions got lioned.
It is what it is. And they got draft capital, so.
It happens, fellas. Listen, the NFC, you guys are fortunate to be in the NFC where you're not playing these powerhouse quarterbacks like you are in the AFC.
And we don't have Russell Wilson.
Exactly. The window is still open for you guys. It'll be fine. Retool. Take this loss. I know it hurts as much as it do. Trust me, I've been there before as a Steelers fan. But you got to ride the wave. Brad Holmes knows he showed the capacity to tell you guys he knows what he's doing. They're going to get some better players. And I guarantee you, and I can guarantee you this, I'm maybe not 100%, but 99% sure they will not have these slew of injuries that they had on the defensive side of the football. Don't see it happen again. They'll be much improved. Even whoever they hire as offensive coordinator, they'll be fine. They have Gibbs and Montgomery. Until you figure it out, they'll be able to run the football. I know Jared Goff's probably going to have a say-so in who the next OC is. So I think you guys will be fine. It's a tough loss. I know it sucks, but it just tells you how hard it is to win a Super Bowl. I think this is just they got caught on a bad day. Jared Goff had a bad day, so it just happened. See, he's gonna have fuel to the fire. I'm telling you, they will be back next year with a chance to get to another Super Bowl.
I mean, people have to realize too, like upsets happen in the playoffs. Like Adrian said, it's playoff football. It's happened to the Ravens with Lamar. They've won their division. They've gotten first round buys and played at home and they've lost. There's plenty of teams. It happened to the Packers last year. Like I mean, teams lose. The Packers lost to San Francisco at home in the snow in the playoffs. Like it happens to teams. So is it hard to get back? Absolutely. But again, I think we're very lucky that the Lions have these players that are coming back next year. You could potentially see, the Raiders are a terrible organization. They didn't get Ben Johnson as their head coach. Maybe they're going to want draft capital. Maybe you can trade for Max Crosby. Maybe you can go out. The Chargers need to either cut. They have a huge amount of money in Joey Bosa. They have to trade or cut Joey Bosa. I know he gets hurt a lot, but they have or Khalil Mack. Like those are two guys you could potentially go get. If they get cut, you could probably bring them back, bring them here. So there's a lot of guys out there you can go draft a guy like Mike Green out of Marshall. That's me and Adrian guy. We like him. I'm a big Jack Sawyer guy. I know a lot of people aren't, but he plays with his hair on fire, and look what he did in the playoffs. He was great in playoff football this year. So that's a guy you could get. I think he could buy into your system. Is he some phenomenal pass rusher? No, but he would help, a little bit with the pass rush against with Aiden, and he's very good at defending the run. So I think that there's a lot of guys out there you can go get to bolster this roster. I just think that it's gonna sting for a little bit, but you're gonna have to learn that this happens in the NFL and just put it by the past is the past and look forward to next season. Just look forward to playing again next season. I do think there needs to be some sort of address in the quarterback situation. I mean, I'm obviously keeping Jared Goff, but you might have to seriously look at Hendon Hooker and see if he's going to be the guy who can take over the reins. He's going to be 28 next season in the playoffs, so. He's going to be older. Do you want to go out and you want to take a chance on a quarterback that's out there? Raaj, I know Raaj is going to put a quip in here with a Will Howard. He might say, go get Will Howard, but see if you can get a Will Howard in the fourth round. I mean, he's a little older guy like Adrian said, so I'd rather have a younger guy. But you have to really take back and look and see who you could develop. Yeah, Dart. I would love Dart. Honestly, you guys know I'm a big fan of his, but. You might have to look at a guy who's younger and maybe still look at trading Hendon Hooker to the Raiders or Seattle or someone who's looking for a quarterback because he's sat for the year. He's 27. He's been in the NFL for what 2 years now. So he's learned and Ben Johnson's scheme. There's a lot that you could do with him, and then maybe find his replacement that's a 21-year-old kid, 22-year-old kid that can sit for another year, 2 years until Jared Goff's contract's up.
Okay, cool. Let's get some of the feedback here. DC says Robert Saleh reportedly on the list for the defensive coordinator job after AG leaves.
That'd be good.
I would love Saleh. I saw, there's obviously he has ties with the 49ers and Shanahan, so he could go there and be their DC, but he also grew up here in Detroit, and he interviewed for the head coaching job before Dan Campbell got it. So, I mean, I'd take him I think he's a great defensive coordinator. Maybe he's one of those guys who's not cut out to be a head coach, just a defensive coordinator. So, and also there's poll too, where if, the Jets do hire a head coach and Sauce Gardner wants to trade, or DJ Reid wants to trade, maybe you can go get one of those guys as a corner replacement. Sauce, you would obviously have to trade a lot for, but maybe you could go get one of those guys that have ties to Saleh if they like him. Maybe you could go get Quentin Williams, put him next to Lee McNeil. There's just a lot of opportunities with past players that he could maybe potentially go get. So
yeah, DJ Reed's a free agent, so you wouldn't have to trade for him.
oh, okay.
And then Aaron Glenn, him and the GM, one of the assistant GMs for I believe Washington, left the Jets facility a couple hours ago without any deal done. So I don't know what's going to happen with that.
Yeah, that Washington guy got hired. He was an old Lions exec. He got hired, I believe.
I don't know what the Jets are doing, but they're a dumpster fire of a franchise.
Woody Johnson's a clown.
Yeah, hey, maybe the Lions could pluck Jordan Travis from over there.
There you go, Reed's guy.
Yeah, maybe. He's again a little bit older guy. I think he's 24, maybe.
All right, more of the feedback here. David says, "Stop with the Bridgewater stuff. Goff gives you the best chance to win."
I agree, David. He gives you the best chance to win when he doesn't get his head blown off by a guy after getting popped in the bottom of the chin strap and then his head bouncing off the turf. Like, I get it. I understand. Like, Goff does give you your best chance to win, but not when he's, seen 3 Jamison Williams running up the field. He doesn't know which one to throw to. There's levels to it, obviously. Like, if Jared Goff doesn't take that hit, then yeah, he probably does give you a better chance to win. But when your guys, like, look at Jalen Hurts, like, you're concussed, you're not going to play well. Like, I mean, Jalen Hurts for the Eagles, I mean, it was a snow game. We can get to that, I know, soon. But, like, he still didn't seem like he was fully recovered from his concussion. So, yeah, I'm not saying Teddy Bridgewater is the future. I'm just saying at that point in time, I think Teddy Bridgewater could have given you that Case Keenum, type run when he took the Vikings to I don't know if Jared Goff would have been out the next game, but Case Keenum took, the Vikings to an NFC championship game. So it's like, he does give you an option to be there. So I just think a guy who's not concussed over a concussed quarterback probably would have been a better option.
Okay. All right, last one here. DC says, "I honestly feel like the Lions play better being the underdogs."
Yeah, of course they do. But I mean, that's part of put yourself in a new territory where you got to understand that you're playing with the big dogs now. You guys are one of the best teams in the league. You got to understand how to play like it. You want to act like a winner, play like a winner. That's just the bottom line. Embrace it. You know what I mean? You can't live in that kind of fear. Just play loose, play your football. You like to win, get used to winning.
Like that play right there, that end around with J-Mo. I mean, Teddy played it great. He did a good block. Like, I think Teddy would have been a very good out of the celebration was wild. I think Teddy would have been a good option to potentially see what even if you put Teddy in there and he plays, he plays one quarter and then you see what happens with Goff. Like, that's fine. I don't think Teddy was going to ruin the whole game for you if you let him play one quarter. He couldn't have played much worse than Jared Goff did after he came back. Like, he gives you, he's a solid quarterback. He was good for you, when he played a few games last year, 2 seasons ago, whatever it was. I think Teddy's a solid replacement. I just think now he's older, so it's harder to, you're not going to keep him around to be your starter. But
yeah,
I agree. They got to address that backup quarterback spot.
Yes, sir. So sticking with these Commanders, they're on fire right now. Adrian, what chance are you giving them to go to Philly for this NFC Championship and stay hot and get to the Super Bowl?
Well, I mean, considering they went on the road, beat Tampa, and went on the road and beat the number 1 seed Detroit Lions, I will give the Commanders a 30% shot to win this game. But I just think at this point, I mean, people are talking. Jalen Hurts hasn't played well. I mean, couldn't really see too much. He banged his knee up. It started snowing. So I just don't think anybody's stopping what Saquon Barkley's doing right now. And then on top of it, this Philadelphia Eagles defense has been elite. We were talking about a couple years ago, the Lions drafting Jalen Carter. He's developed into arguably now the best interior defensive lineman. You seen that play where he got in the backfield and just picked Stafford up and was just holding him like a baby. So him and Saquon and Jalen Carter carried them to the victory, and I think the Philadelphia Eagles defense will continue to do that. Washington's going to give them a fight, though, just because it's a division game. And mind you, Washington beat them last time they played, but remember, Jalen Hurts got knocked out in that game early with concussion, and the Eagles blew a big lead. But Jalen Daniels is also playing a lot better compared to that time even more. But I just think the Eagles have enough firepower on defense to slow Washington down on the road. That you know how that Philly crowd is gonna be rocking. So I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles to win this game 24-14.
Yeah, I'm with Adrian. I would be around 25-30%. I mean, they're going to need some magic. I mean, this Philly team is unbelievable. That defensive line, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter. Would I love to have Jalen Carter on a team? It would be great. But you also got, Jahmyr Gibbs out of that, who's arguably the second best running back in the NFL right now behind Saquon. And then you have, you got Jack Campbell, who I think is going to be an emerging star. I think he's going to be even better next season because he played really well this season. But would it be nice to have McNeil and Carter on that D line? It would be crazy. But again, you did get some pieces for it. So you could always find the next guy, in this next draft, hopefully. But I just think the Commanders, they're not going to be playing Kenny Pickett again for the most part, unless something, crazy happens to Jalen Hurts. So I don't think they're going to win. And it goes back to it. I know he's done it twice. He won, Tampa, and then he won here. But it's really hard to win 3 times on the road, especially in Philly, who's red hot as well. I just don't think you've already played them twice this year. It's hard to beat a team the third time, or it's hard to beat a team twice, and they'll be playing for the third time. So I don't think the Commanders pull it out, but yeah, Jaden Daniels is playing out of his mind. I just think the Eagles are going to be ready for them. I think they know what's coming. I think they know how to play against Jaden Daniels now. I mean, the craziest thing about the Lions game too is Jaden Daniels didn't even really use his legs a whole lot. He just beat him in the pocket, which was crazy to me. So I think if the Lions contain him, the Eagles contain him in the pocket, I think that to make you beat him with his arm, I don't think he's going to be doing it this time around. Because again, they still almost even lost with Kenny Pickett back there. I mean, granted, Jalen Hurts played a lot, but they almost lost with Kenny Pickett, playing for the Eagles. So that team is still formidable. I just think that they don't have enough firepower, and I think the luck's running out.
Yeah, I agree. I think the magic stops here. I just think Philly's more of a win now mode, or more Super Bowl or bust mode. They just got the overall better team. They're at home. It's Philly's game to lose for sure.
And if you think about it, the fact that it's Jalen Hurts and their passing game is not even clicking right now. They're not even hitting all cylinders, and they're playing like this as far as the run game and the defense. So if Jalen Hurts can at least be solid to decent, they'll be unstoppable. But the fact is that Jaden Daniels, regardless of what happens Sunday, arguably he's had the best rookie season I've seen from a quarterback ever.
Okay. Big Ben had a solid rookie season too. I believe he got to the AFC Championship game, I believe, his rookie year.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Patrick Mahomes had a pretty good rookie season too.
Well, you count that? I mean, you count that because he got to sit out a year. So, I mean, it's tough.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, if you in the terms of that, yeah, I mean, I guess you would give it to Jaden Daniels. Lamar had a pretty good rookie season. Decent. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it was as good as Jaden Daniels, but it was still decent.
I just like Jaden Daniels' poise. They win, and he's just calm as a cucumber.
I will say it. I am taking my victory lap. I said in the beginning of the season, before the draft happened, I said that Chicago's going to fall into the trap of drafting Caleb Williams. He could still be good. I'm not saying that. But I do think I did say Jaden Daniels is going to be a better quarterback to start his career than Caleb Williams was, and he has been. So people thought I was crazy because he went to Washington with they said that offensive line's bad. They said that Dan Quinn is not a good head coach. Cliff Kingsbury's a failed guy, but Cliff Kingsbury's a great offensive coordinator. He just might be one of those guys like Saleh, who's just not a good head coach, but he's a good coordinator.
So, Reid, if Chicago would have took Jaden Daniels, would Chicago be in the playoffs right now?
I think they would have made a wild card again like that, but I still think they would have lost in the first round. I don't think Chicago is. I don't think their offensive line was as good as the Commanders. But their defense is definitely better. They have a lot of weapons on offense. I definitely think they would have been in the same position, but I think they probably would have lost. I think the Lions would have beat Chicago personally if they had Jaden Daniels.
Okay, cool. Some feedback here. Jaleel says, I gotta agree with Reid. Teddy couldn't have played any worse than Goff. Let him cook for one quarter.
Yeah, I mean, again, when a guy's got seeing ghosts out there. It's pretty hard to be much worse than that. So
Yeah, Goff had four turnovers by itself, right? The fumble, and was it 3 picks?
it was 3 picks, yeah. So he had three turnovers,
picks.
but I mean, one of them was right before the half. So I mean, it was just a poor throw, but I mean, still, it was mistakes were made. I just think that pick 6, not calling that. My conspiracy theory of the night is that Vegas had too much money to lose on the Lions going to the Super Bowl, so they wanted to knock them out early. That's what helps me sleep at night.
All right, some more feedback here, Jalil. This was shit. All right, we're good. Laptop unplugged there for a second. All right, Jalil says Knicks Mahomes. That's like giving Ben Simmons props for winning Rookie of the Year his second season.
Yeah, Jalil, you wanted Donovan Mitchell to win that thing. I remember that debate.
Yeah. All right, so Adrian, the Bills pulled it out. They beat the Ravens. They're gonna play the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. So, what chance are you giving the Bills going in the Arrowhead? Can they pull this off and beat the Chiefs?
Oh, they absolutely can pull it off. I'm giving them a 45% chance to win this game, but I'm sticking with my original pick preseason as we did our Super Bowl predictions. I had the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Green Bay Packers. I was wrong on the Green Bay Packers. I was on the Jordan Love train. They took a step back this year, but I am sticking with the Kansas City Chiefs. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I know the Chiefs always when they play, it always looks like it's hard, but when it comes to matters and makes the plays to win the games, that's what they do. I know there's conspiracy theories about the refs trying to cheat every time they play the Chiefs, but let's be real. Texans special teams was terrible. They missed 2 field goals, making a ton of mistakes in the game. You let Patrick Mahomes do his thing, and the thing is, the Chiefs are like Michael Myers. You got to kill them when they're down, not stab them, cut the head off. So you have to no mercy on them. But I believe the Bills have a chance to win this game. Most people will be picking the Bills, but I'm rolling with the Kansas City Chiefs, man. I believe this is another tight ball game once again. Give me the Chiefs 23-20.
Yeah, I'm going to be a little bit higher on the Bills because I think Josh Allen wants to get the monkey off his back of losing to Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs every year. Beats him every year in the regular season, and I think he's ready to, kind of take that next step and beat him. Now I give him a 55% chance to win. I think they're going to be a little bit more hungry to play. The Chiefs haven't looked like the Chiefs all season. There's been a few games where it's come down to field goals and field goal blocks and pass interference calls. You were talking about, the refs and Patrick Mahomes. I saw a very interesting video about this guy put together a compilation of all the playoff games of Jalen Hurts getting hit late on the ground after he slid, Jaden Daniels getting tackled out of bounds, Jared Goff getting popped, not getting the flag. There was a few other ones, but none of those flags were called. And then there was one where Patrick Mahomes, granted, you're able to do it. I don't think quarterbacks should necessarily be able to do it, but he baits a lot of the defenders into coming to get him when he, there was a play that he had where he was he was scrambling around in the pocket looking for somewhere to go. He rolls out to the right and he looks like he's about to pass the ball, but then he tucks it and he slides and 2 Texans players hit each other and then they land on top of Mahomes. He got a flag for that. It was a crucial play because the Texans would have gotten the ball. They would have gotten a kick and gotten the ball back and potentially could have taken the lead. So I just think that, you got to worry about that. You got to be careful when it comes to Mahomes. Don't hit him high. Just when you come to him, just put your arms up and around and slowly put him down with a blanket on the ground. So it's going to be tough. You really have to play to that kind of advantage. I think people know that he's going to do it. So I would still think Josh Allen is hungry, and I think they're going to – I just think that the Bills are a little bit better of a team. I don't think that the Chiefs' offense has looked amazing this year. So I think the Bills can really just put gas on the offense and hope the defense holds back Mahomes and Kelsey, and I think that they can win this game.
I mean, I like what the Bills have done this season. I do think Josh Allen is the MVP. I know Lamar's right there, Saquon, but I just feel like Josh Allen has done more with less. So they're playing very well right now, but honestly, at this point, I think it's the Chiefs' Super Bowl to lose. Just like we said a couple weeks back with Ohio State, I feel as though it's their national championship to lose. Same thing with the Chiefs. They're the best team remaining. Bills are hot right now. Josh Allen's playing very well. He's finding ways to win, but just going to Arrowhead, playing against Andy Reid, Mahomes, I'm not going to bet against those guys. I think the Chiefs are going to get it done. I think it's their Super Bowl to lose, man. I like the Chiefs.
I will say too, before we move on, that regardless of whoever wins this game between the Chiefs and the Bills, that's the Super Bowl champion. The Eagles or the Commanders can't beat them. The best team, those are two best teams in the National Football League right now, in my opinion.
The Eagles got the defense. They got the playmaker at running back. It's just Jalen Hurts' arm, the passing. That's the only thing slowing them down, honestly.
I just think Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes are just such big catalysts in when it would come to that game in the Super Bowl that yes, that defense is good, but they're so good at creating, and Josh Allen's so good at running, like choosing when to run the ball. He's so physical when he runs it too. So like I feel like that Eagles defense and that defensive line would have trouble kind of getting him down. And then I think again with Mahomes, he's just creative. He can get out of the pocket and I know people don't like saying it, but I do think there's a little bit of, favoritism when the refs are watching him. So I think he has that to play on his side. But I just think that like Adrian said, I think it's those two teams. If either one of those make it, I think it's just going to be the AFC is going to take home the Super Bowl again.
Sure. Some of the feedback here. It says it seems as if the stage is set for Kansas City Chiefs to three-peat.
Yeah, I feel like people have just been saying that all year, basically. The Chiefs are the boogeyman.
Yeah, and I mean, this season was nothing pretty for them at all. They've just been finding ways to win. It hasn't been sexy at all, but they're just winners. They know how to win. So,
and this has never been a three-peat's never been done. So the fact is, Patrick Mahomes is trying to make history, and the NFL probably wants to see it. So a lot of people that hate the Chiefs don't want to see this, but I mean, that's what you need. You need the villain, and the Chiefs are the villain right now. They were a lighthearted story. Now they're winning too much, and people hate it. So it's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see the Bills go in there and upset them, and I want to see Josh Allen get over that Mahomes something, but I just don't think he's going to do it. All right, let's see Jaleel here. I'd say the odds are 50-50. It could go either way. You have to dethrone the champs. So if I had to pick, Chiefs get the slight edge.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would lead in the Chiefs' way. I know Adrian said people would say the Bills, but I think a lot of people would lean the Chiefs to win. I think they want the Bills to win, but I think people logically would say the Chiefs are going to win. This Chiefs team did have a good season for what it's worth. I just think that they're not as good as from what I've seen in their games. I just think there's a lot of games that they played close and they got very lucky with a few games, like the block kick, the for the field goal, the Bengals pass interference call let them down the field. Isaiah likely wears a size 11 instead of a size 12. They lose that first game of the season. There's just a lot of games that really went their way, and I think that there was a Chargers game where Rashee Rice got hurt, where they were battling against the Chargers. I think there's just something about this team that is not as they look more beatable than they have in the past.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I just think the problem is a lot of these teams don't take advantage of the mistakes that the Chiefs make or hop on or put their foot on the gas, and then if you leave any room for them to win the game, they're going to win the game. And that's just, I think it almost becomes a psychological aspect at that point. I don't care about Taylor Swift, my God, but it's aggravating. But I just think it's one of those things where like it was like with the Patriots when teams had a chance to put Tom Brady away, they never did. They always let him hang around, and we knew in our heart of heart that Tom Brady got the ball back with 1:12 left to go win the game. He was winning it 99% of the time.
That my girl was in the suite that last game. Did you see that?
Yeah, I seen that.
Now I'm sure there'll be a bet on FanDuel, but they did it last year with it. Now if Travis Kelce wins the three-peat and gets that Super Bowl ring, does Taylor Swift get the ring? I wonder how many people are going to bet on that.
Yeah.
All right. Some feedback here. Jaleel said, "Y'all hard on my guy Hurts."
Sorry, Jaleel, man. He's got to be better, man. This is disappointing. How in the world can AJ Brown have 2 catches? You got to find a way to get him the ball. You guys have talented receivers. You got a tight end. You got a great back out the backfield. Make it simple. I don't know what Kellen Moore needs to do, but Jalen Hurts, I know his confidence shot. If his knee was bothering him after that hit, he's still lacking from that concussion. I don't know. He's got to be better, man. You threw for 120 some yards in a playoff game. You got to be better, Jalen Hurts. Got to be better.
Yeah, it helps when your running back runs for 202 scores. Like, I mean, and it's not any like knock. I mean, I guess it is a knock, but it's not like saying that Hurts is bad. It's just that for all the time that he's been in the NFL, he's never been known to trust in his arm and believe in his arm, and it showed when he was in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. He didn't really pass the ball amazingly. I mean, he scored I think 3 rushing touchdowns in that Super Bowl, 2 rushing touchdowns, something like that. So I mean, he's definitely a run first quarterback before he's passing it. I mean, he's just doesn't seem as confident in his arm as he does in his legs. Like Adrian said, AJ Brown's not getting the ball. Devontae Smith's not really getting the ball. You have 2 great wide receivers. Dallas Goedert's not a bad tight end, and although I think is he still hurt or did he play last game? He played. And then you have Saquon. So it's just I mean, he doesn't need to rely on his arm for the most part as long as Saquon's running for 200 yards.
Yeah, even in that inclement weather, Stafford threw for over 300 yards. So
And can I say this? I can't watch another snow game. I hope it's not going to snow in Philly again. I can't watch another one of those games. The product is so bad on the field when it's a snow game. Like we saw when the Lions played Philly, like it's not even real football. The guys can't run. They can't hold on to the ball. It's just it's not it's not an enjoyable game to watch. It's sloppy. Like Adrian just said, it's sloppy. I just don't enjoy watching those snow games.
I will say I know this is real nerdy because I was looking this up, guys. But you guys know the Bills will be getting a new stadium next season. They'll be ready for next season. So it's kind of like how their stadium's kind of open. So that people will make sense like it's round, but it's like open. But the new field's kind of like I would kind of describe them as like hooks. But they have these sensors in this new system in there. It's for like snow. So when it starts snowing, it like melts the snow as the snow hits the stadium. So it won't be like you won't see complete snow and the fans got to shovel all the snow and it will help keep the snow out of the stadium. So it should be a lot easier for them to play in those type of games and that type of weather when it does.
Yeah, happen. It's almost like a kind of like a retractable roof, like semi-retractable roof. It's like they're like awnings almost that come out.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
They don't close totally, so there's like still an open spot on top of it. It's probably and it's probably 50 yards across on the top of it, but they have like the awning that comes over, which I mean it's crazy with all this technology what you can do, which is smart. If you don't have to build a full dome and you can melt the snow before it gets into the stadium, that's crazy. I wonder if the Browns are doing a dome though, aren't they?
Are they getting a new stadium?
Yeah, I think they got approved for it. I don't know when it's supposed to be built or whatever, but I know they got approved for the new stadium.
I guess my Studs the only ones that wants to play outside in the conditions.
Ravens play outside, Bengals too, but I don't know. And I would love to see Joe Burrow in this playoff. I think it's so fun.
Yes, sir. All right, let's get over to some college basketball. So, Adrian, MSU right now is currently 16-2, 7-0 in the Big Ten. So, do you expect Michigan State to win the Big Ten? And what is this team ceiling?
Yes, right now they're leading the Big Ten after Michigan's loss last week to Minnesota in overtime. That Dawson Garcia was crazy, but I mean they finally got a legit point guard in Jeremy Fears. I mean he got shot last year, so he didn't really get to play. But this team is believing in what Tom Izzo wants them to do, and I mean the Big Ten is a little better this season than I thought it was going to be. Like I told you guys before, I thought it was going to be really down, but it's a lot better where I have. Michigan's definitely been a surprise. I thought they would be a solid team, but not as good. But I think this Michigan State team has a great shot and is the catalyst right now to win the Big Ten. And I think they can. They continue the way they are playing. They can at least contend for a number 1 seed in the tournament. I don't think that's happened since before Tom Izzo, before COVID. That season before COVID, I think that was his last best shot to win a title. I would like to see Tom Izzo win another title, for cement his legacy because it's been going 25 years since he won his first title. Man, that'll be dope for him.
Yeah, I mean, Adrian's our college basketball guy. I haven't watched too much of it. I catch games here and there. I've kind of been a Rutgers guy this year because I'm a big Ace Bailey guy, but I've only watched a few games of theirs. But I did watch, I've watched State play. I think I've watched about 3 or 4 games of State. I haven't watched any Michigan. I know Michigan. I watched probably 2 games, but I know Michigan. I mean, they have everything going. I've said to you guys, even though I'm not a Michigan guy, I like Dusty May a lot. I think he's a very good coach. The one thing that Michigan seems to rely on is the two bigs that they have, and I think that can kind of hurt you sometimes. Although they're kind of trying to go the way of Purdue last year with Edey. I think they kind of want two bigs so they can rebound and a big that can just back down and shoot. Because Wolf doesn't really do that. Wolf's a point center basically. He's basically a 7 foot tall point guard. So I just think Michigan has kind of a weird identity at the moment, and yeah, I think State's always this weird team where they never have a superstar on the team, but they have 5 or 7 guys that just all play well on the court when they're together. That's kind of Izzo's basketball. You know what I mean? So I definitely think it's their Big Ten to lose because there's not really. Ohio State's decent, aren't they, Adrian, for basketball right now?
No, they're not. They're not a great team this year. No, they're struggling right now.
Who would probably be the top 3 in the Big Ten right now?
Be Michigan State. I'd say Illinois.
Illinois is ranked, aren't they?
Purdue up there, Michigan. UCLA got off to a good start, but they've been struggling as of recently. I think Mick Cronin, their coach, is going to be out of there after the season. He's lost marbles quite a few times this year. Northwestern is much improved. I think Minnesota will probably be the worst team in the Big Ten right now. Your Rutgers boys, they're playing a lot better recently over the last couple games. They do play Michigan State on Saturday at 1:30, Reid, so it might be a must-watch for you.
I'll be checking that out for sure.
Maryland has a guy.
Is that at Breslin or is that?
That is – let me get that. Sorry, I just had it pulled up.
Because they're not ranked.
That is at Rutgers, actually.
They're not ranked, right?
No, they're not ranked.
Yeah.
Also, Wisconsin's still playing well, but I still never believe them. They never have an elite guy for me to be able to really win the Big Ten. No offense to them, but they're a solid team.
Wisconsin's always just 5 white guys. It's just 5 white guys out on the court every time.
Oregon's came in. They've been pretty good. Dana Altman's their head coach. He's a really good head coach. Yeah. It's still weird. I know they're playing. Actually, what's weird, guys, is we still got getting used to Oregon and Washington in the Big Ten. This is weird. Washington travels to Oregon tonight at 11 p.m. on BTN. That's a Big Ten game. We thought we'd never see something like that. So, but I would say from top to bottom, there's probably a legit 1, 2. I say six teams I believe in the Big Ten are good. Indiana is not good. Mike Woodson's on the hot seat right now. They spent quite a bit of money on NIL to make some moves. They got the guy from Arizona, Barlow, Miles Rice from Washington State. But they have just not been clicking right now. So I think Mike Woodson could be in trouble. Former Detroit Pistons assistant coach, former Knicks coach. So it's been some good college basketball this season. Obviously the Cooper Flag hype's been there. Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper. But the best team in college basketball right now is between Duke and Auburn right now. We currently sit right now. Iowa State's pretty good this year, sitting at 3 in the country. But Michigan State is ranked 8th heading into the week. Michigan is ranked. They are ranked. Probably popped up.
Michigan's at 21st.
Yeah, 21st. I think what Reid said about Michigan, good point. They're playing through their big man, Vlad Golden, FAU transfer, Danny Wolf, Yale guy. They both have been dominant. So, if they have an off game, Michigan won't do as well. But Trey Donaldson, the transfer from Auburn, has been pretty well for them. We had a guy from North Texas, been solid. I think the guard play is what could get them in trouble. But just this being Dusty May's first season, he's had a fantastic start. Like I said, they blew that game to Minnesota. But, like you said, Raaj, the shot was crazy.
It was a game winner. They didn't get blew out of it.
They bounced back, had a good win against Northwestern at home. Northwestern's solid. They travel to Purdue Friday night at 8 o'clock. That's going to be a tough game. I think they could lose that game because, Purdue's a pretty tough place to play normally. So,
yeah, I like Braden. I like Braden Smith. He's a senior, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, quick note on Michigan State, guys. They have 7 guys averaging 20 minutes, and then they only have at least 20 minutes. They only have 1 guy who's averaging double figures, and that is senior guard Jaden Akins.
Yeah, Akins killed my parlay the other day too. I took him for 10 points. Of course, he got 8.
And I am currently watching, as we're recording this, I'm currently watching my Tar Heels. They're on the road at Wake Forest right now. They had a tough loss against Stanford over the weekend. Have no size in the interior whatsoever, so they may not even make the tournament this year.
Yeah, they're going to be a bubble team for sure.
The ACC is terrible.
Yeah, tell me about it. Not that it matters. I don't even know what this is due for them, but Florida State just hired a new athletic director and CFO. So I don't know.
Do you know anything about? Is it a guy?
Yeah, Josh Turner. He was the athletic director and CFO at Georgia Southern last year, but it seems like he just moved to Florida State now. They just announced it. So, he managed a budget of $164 million operating, the largest Miami athletics in history. I mean, that was when he was at University of Miami. So, hopefully it helps. Hopefully it's good. I don't think it's going to equate to much of the production on the field, obviously, but AD's always play an interesting role.
Yeah, and as far as State, if State wins the Big Ten, I do think they'll be a number 1 seed in the tournament for sure.
Yes, I agree, 100%. I'll read you a couple of their games off. They finished. I'll read you the next 4 games. They finished the month of January. Saturday, they travel to Rutgers and then they host Minnesota to end the month out, and then they travel to USC and UCLA for a West Coast trip. They don't play Michigan until February 21st and March 9th. So the March 9th game will be the last game of the regular season.
That'll be interesting, the UCLA game, because did you see the UCLA head coach complaining about doing all those East Coast trips?
He's I think he's out of there. I think after this season he's ready. This is about his 3rd or 4th rant in the last couple weeks, I would say.
Yeah, these West Coast teams, y'all in the Big Ten now. Washington, Oregon, USC, UCLA. Welcome to Big Ten country. Y'all here now.
Sure.
All right. Some of the feedback here. Access. It's almost March Madness already. Yes,
Crazy.
Sir.
We'll be doing a lot more college basketball now. We're doing a lot more college basketball.
I got to pay a lot more attention to college basketball now that Lions are out and that's started.
Yeah. I wonder what happened to that Goki kid that played on OU last year. I wonder, did he get picked up?
He's in Wisconsin. He's in Milwaukee's G League.
Okay. All right, cool.
They have a new white kid that shoots a lot of threes.
AJ Green.
No, that's not his name, is it?
The guy, is he on the Bucks or is he on the G League team?
No, I'm talking about OU.
OU? Yeah, let me find it.
They got the white kid with the rec specs.
Let me pull it up for you. Give me 1 second. I got to remember his name.
Max something.
All right, and then last one here from Ish. She says, did the snow play a big factor in the Los Angeles Rams losing?
Yeah, because it caused a fumble for Kyron Williams. He couldn't run the ball that well. He should have had a touchdown at one point, but he got caught. I think it played a lot of drops happened. I think they played a big factor in it. They almost had a comeback. They almost won that game, and then they just lost it. They lost it in the end.
Okay. All right, cool. Before we get up here, any updates on the Wings game?
Well, we got one more. Gaines Media said, does college basketball even exist before March? If you're a college basketball fan, it does to people. I think a lot of people think March Madness is great, but I don't necessarily pay attention to it because my NFL team was in the playoffs. But I'll watch it a lot more now.
Yeah, the college basketball season's been good, especially with Michigan State and Michigan being good as well. I've been keeping up with their games for sure. That Sunday we had a whole slate. State played at noon. Then the Eagles came on at like 3. Michigan played at like 2. So yeah, it was a whole slate of games. I like college basketball.
Yeah, I like it a lot too. And I like it how they play so many, like they have so many games on TV. You can always find one that's interesting to watch in the match. Like that matchup, Adrian and I had a parlay together that got absolutely destroyed by upsets. But
bad day.
That happened earlier. Their Wings it's tied 1-1. Third period's almost over right now.
Minute 5 left.
I'm at 30.
Can't find a damn video.
Okay. Yeah, I got I put a little 3-leg together. I took a Alex DeBrincat anytime goal scorer, so I need that.
You gotta wait for the overtime.
We got a 17-leg college parlay going right now, still alive.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, keep us updated on that. All right. Well, there it is. Good show, fellas. We got the Pistons at the Hawks tomorrow. We'll see if the Pistons can.
Oh, by the way, Cade was on the TNT pregame show tonight on on TNT with some of the guys on there. So I watched a little bit while I was at the gym. So he's starting to get some national pub a little bit, which I like to see.
Do you expect him to be All-Star?
I expect him to, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think he should be, but I don't know if he will. Just because they'll probably vote in bigger guys like Brunson and
having a way better season than Brunson.
He's having a way better season than every other guy in front of him, but I think there's popularity is going to push those guys through. Coming up in March, UFC 313 is going to be a big one. Pereira's fighting. Ankalev is a Russian guy. He's huge, 6'3", 204, big guy. And then you have Justin Gaethje fighting Dan Hooker. So that'll be an interesting UFC fight.
You said when is that?
Guys.
March 8th.
Okay. I forgot, guys. Next Saturday, Izzy's back in the ring.
Oh yeah, and then there's that one too. It's Izzy and there's one other one in that. It's Izzy and
then you got Michael Page, the
Venom guy. Page versus the Pirate.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And you got WWE Royal Rumble coming up.
Yes, sir.
Any good boxing?
Tank fight what? February or March?
I know Garcia Haney is in talks for another fight.
Well, they're supposed to be
Garcia suspended.
Yeah, the Terrence Crawford Canelo fight is supposed to be. I guess they're supposed to be working on the contract details for September. That's the rumor on the street, fighting at 166.
I don't know. I saw something about Haney and Garcia were like working something out, and he wouldn't be suspended. They're supposed to have a rematch, so I would have to look more into it. But
yeah, Garcia has to get reinstated. He's suspended right now.
Benavidez is fighting David Morrell next Saturday. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Crawford Canelo fight would be crazy.
Beterbiev versus Bivol is the 22nd. Gervonta Davis is fighting March 1st. He's fighting Lamont Roach, but I don't know what Gervonta is doing. I don't think he really cares at this point. He's just trying to get a check. I mean, just give us the fight we want to see. So,
my last question to you, boxing guys, is who's gonna dethrone Usyk? Is that how you say his name? The guy who just beat Fury.
I don't know. The heavyweight division is not good. It's not good. It's not good.
Yeah, the heavyweight division is down in boxing. It's the lower weights that are more exciting, which sucks because when boxing was at its prime, the heavyweight division was the top, but that's not the case now. The heavyweight division's all the way down.
Gotcha.
Show.
All right, cool. All right.
Yeah.
Good show. Well, yeah, good show, fellas. Appreciate y'all.
Yep.
Shout out to Rob on the production.
I need that audio file, pimp.
Audio file on the way. I'm gonna download that. Everybody, make sure y'all like the video. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. And sports update next Tuesday, 8:00. We'll see y'all then.
Peace.
Yes, sir.
Peace.